All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Summer School E-commerce Ops Edition. I'm Christina from TaxCloud, your host of the series. And today I'm really excited to be joined by Marius from the Tidio team. Marius, thanks for joining us today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well, for our listeners, as everyone knows, the goal of the series is to bring on the experts from the top e-commerce tools. And I couldn't be more excited to bring on Tidio and have them part of this. So what I'm going to do in just a second here is hand over the mic to Marius, who's going to run through the session. I'll come back in to close things out. But without further ado, Marius, I'm going to hand it over to you and let's get into it.
Awesome, thank you. I'm excited about this and thank you so much for the invite. I'm here to talk about the latest AI trends in customer support. And by the way, I'm Marius Laza, I'm the Chief Customer Officer at Tidio. And we are a platform that works across the board. So you have a multi-channel and you bring all of that into live chat, ticketing, AI and automation. So we're basically an AI customer service platform that takes all of it and combines it into one dashboard so you can respond to all of your questions in one go. We have been installed over 300,000 times over the last 12 or 13 years since we started. So we kind of know what we're talking about. And recently we've been talking a lot about AI. So the main trends that I wanted to cover today is businesses going AI first, AI agents and actions, and AI guidance, or what I call built for you. But these are just some of the topics I've noticed working with my customer experience team, especially in the last 12 months, talking with hundreds of customers and kind of how they set up their customer support function. So I wanted to share that with you. Some of it is This is very, very recent, so just things that came up in the last couple of months. So I think this is quite cool. And I'm excited to share all of that with you. So let's start with the first one, and that's just going AI first, which maybe you've noticed as a user going to a website. More and more often you might see an AI agent, and hopefully most of the time you have a great experience, because if it is set up correctly, I think you can. But if it's set up incorrectly, I think you won't. So that's the critical part, is the setup. But for anyone in the customer support space, I think you might notice the highlighted KPIs here in my presentation, because I started in customer support. So as a support agent, I always knew about first response time, requester wait time, CSAT, critical KPIs for any support team. And I just wanted to show the evolution of that now with AI. So the first thing that was solved by AI agents was the response time, right? If you have an AI bot, it can respond to any message instantly. So you no longer have to think about like 5 minutes response time, 8 minutes response time. All of the queries get responded to instantly. So that's pretty cool. And what we see most is people that want that on the weekends. They want that during the night, right? So there's few companies right now that still offer 24/7 support with just support agents, and many of them are now doing it with AI. So that's easy to solve. And of course, the requester wait time is kind of similar, and that's just how long it takes to fully solve a question. And it's worse during the night, right? When you get a support question at midnight, it might take you a few hours to get back to it. Even worse on the weekends, it might take you a few days to respond fully. And again, this drops down to basically instantly all the time. So that's a huge advantage, of course, of using AI. You cut down all of your time KPIs to like 1 second. And this only makes sense if the responses are good, right? Anyone can just respond quickly but poorly. So CSAT is critical and probably the most important KPI in customer support since the beginning of customer support. And having a high AI CSAT is still very important and kind of the main thing to track. We kind of do this through a proxy, which we call resolution rate. How often can the AI solve the question or the thread fully, right? All of the questions within a thread. And we are seeing a resolution rate of about 70% on average, which is one of the highest in the industry, if not the highest. We have some big clients that have reached 80% or even 90%, but it really depends on the complexity of the business and the type of questions that you're getting. And the critical part is what happens with the rest, right? So let's say we solve 70% with AI instantly on the weekends. It's fast, it's good, CSAT is high. and there's still 30% left, and that usually just gets escalated to a support agent. So that's where you go into, okay, we still have a positive interaction overall, but halfway through it had to be escalated to a support agent. They took it over, they solved it, and the client is still very happy. And that happens, I guess, 30% of the time on average. And in 70% of cases, they just start with AI, end with AI, and it's perfect. So because of this, we're just seeing this trend of companies wanting to have AI as their first line of defense. So when you go to their live chat on their website, when you send them an email, you might just get a response from AI. And only if your issue is complex enough, it will be escalated to a support agent. So even in the past quarter or so, we've seen more and more companies that don't even have support agents on live chat anymore. We had a lot of cases where the AI escalated the question to a support agent. The support agent was online and kind of checked what was going on, but they cannot fix it. So the complexity of these questions is kind of growing quite a bit. So support agents end up having to escalate to like their engineers or higher tier support. And the type of questions that can be solved on live chat usually can just be solved by AI. So there's no point in having a support agent kind of overseeing like the live chat function, because most of those questions are so complex, they require a follow-up via email and some investigation that takes more than 30 minutes. So more and more companies just eliminate that step. They have instant support with AI, and basically escalation email support happens offline with support agents. They get the tickets, they kind of process them, and then they respond via email. So if you add CSAT on top of this, and if the CSAT is still high, then we have a system that works. So that's what we've seen most commonly. People that make this switch, and now they can offer 24/7 support without a decrease in CSAT, and they have kind of this instant AI support, and then this offline escalation with their support agents. And that's actually what we did with our team as well. All of our support agents that we had when we launched AI are still with the team, but they're all tier 2 support right now, and they're handling these escalations on email and doing other activities as well. So we're happy with that. So for our next trend, we have AI agents and actions. So for this, I have to kind of explain what conversational AI is. It's kind of what you normally see when you talk to ChatGPT, or I guess a lot of people are now using AI in one form or another. And when you do that, you get basically an AI that knows a lot of text and can share that text with you. That's kind of the basics of it, right? It just processes text in a very interesting and cool way, I would say. And in the case of customer support, we usually train the AI on your support history, on your FAQs, on your website information. So it starts learning all of those knowledge points and can deliver answers instantly. And it's really cool and impactful, and it can even take like multiple articles and form a really nice single answer. So that kind of eliminates the need for your visitors to find their own responses. So it in many ways replaces kind of your knowledge base, your search function in the knowledge base, and basically removes the burden of people having to find information on your website, read all of your articles, put two and two together, and kind of figure out what's going on, even comparing products, right? That's all work that visitors used to have to do. But now AI can take all of that text, process it, and realize, okay, I need to just send these two products for the user to compare, or even highlight the differences between two products, which is really cool, I think. And that's just conversational AI, and still a huge advancement and something that people should experiment with. But at the end of the day, it's just processing text. And that's where we see this new trend. So already in the world of customer support AI, action and AI agents are starting to pop up. So what can you do beyond that? Okay, you shared all the text you have, and your AI is having a lot of good conversations. But you're going to notice fairly quickly that a lot of these conversations are very specific about your business and your policies. Some of them are internal policies even that are not publicly available on your website. or some of them are in relation to a customer or an order or something that's very specific to a user, and it's happening more often than you would think. So AI agents can do that. They can get connected to your systems. They can understand your internal policies and basically kind of get the training that a support agent would get, and then they can share information in a different way, not just the text that they read off of your FAQs. They can actually go in and reset a password, for example, or they can go in and look at a specific order, so they can share the status of an order that someone placed on your website, right? So when you think about actions and things that your support agents would do in a maybe different tab or different application, and then they would reply to a customer, that's what an AI agent would do as well. The action of kind of verifying something before responding to your user. So this is how it works. And this is one of the harder things to kind of explain in terms of impact, because all of these basic conversational questions are kind of fast, low-hanging fruit that your team is dealing with. But the true power is from an AI that's connected to a couple of your systems, all of your systems, like your Shopify and potentially like your CRM. And it can actually perform any action within those CRMs, the ones that you allow it, and then talk to your visitors, right? And normally a support agent would have to investigate, go in a different tab, figure it out, and sometimes they would have to do this with multiple customers at the same time, which I used to do all the time when I was a support agent. And now the AI can kind of, again, do it instantly without kind of having to jump through tabs. And it can take these manual tickets that would normally take, or interactions that would normally take like 20 minutes, can take around 1 or 2 minutes with AI doing it. So it really cuts the time down significantly, and there's so much value in even automating one of these interactions, as opposed to like one of the simple reset password interactions that you might have. That's easy for a support agent to do, and now it's easy for AI to do as well. So yeah, AI agents just going a bit deeper into your systems, understanding the complexity of your business, and potentially making changes like changing the delivery date or the delivery address for one of the products that someone has ordered. That's all happening right now, and customers love it. And there's one more component, which is the one I'm most excited about, and I call it built for you. And what we realized talking to more and more people that are trying to deploy AI is that everyone, I wanted to say 90%, but it looks like every one of our prospects have a complex business that requires something very specific. So there is no one size fits all. There's no out of the box solution. And in any sales call that I've been part of, there's always something very specific that the client wants to fix. And for that, you need to have what we call AI guidance, where the AI gets guidance from your team leads or your team and understands your business fully. So it starts simple with just brand, voice, and personality. So that's important, right? You can't have one of your support agents be very robotic suddenly, which is your AI agent. But it goes way deeper than that, right? We can assign a specific goal. So you don't just respond to the interaction. We have an example here. Like if someone asked about an item being in stock, a standard AI would just say, yes, it's available, which is okay, it's true. But what you normally want is to create urgency, maybe push the customer a bit by showing some shipping option, maybe suggest a complementary item. And this is a sample of how it could work. But the possibilities are kind of endless and difficult to explain, because you can have something different for like every line of products. You could have special discounts. You could try to collect email addresses. So basically you could set up any type of like deeper objective from your interactions, and not just have your AI agent respond plainly to every question, but actually have a purpose beyond the way it responds. So here's another example. I thought this was a pretty funny one because one of our clients really wanted their AI to have a sense of humor, which to me originally felt like just another request. But then I checked an example of how this would work. So in our AI guidance for our AI agent, we basically just said that, hey, you need to have kind of this Marvel vibe and add a sense of humor in your responses. And in this case, when asking about the Captain America poster, we have kind of this funny reply where our AI says, I can't shield you from the truth, but we have some superheroes in our collection. But again, this kind of just touches the surface of what we can do. And what we're seeing a lot is an increasing conversion rate on things like booking of like a spa room or anything like that, or even in comparing products, right? So whenever someone wants to learn about two products, we can have Lyro guidance in our AI, and it can actually go a bit deeper and know how to compare the two products or suggest a third one or talk a bit more about the pricing versus the description of the product. So you can be very specific about how you want your AI agent to act, kind of similar to how you would train your support agents, right? You normally give them some sales training before they go out. So if you want to put all of this together, what we're seeing most is that businesses are going AI first. This first layer of customer support is fully solved, and I think people can kind of relate to that based on their conversation with ChatGPT. You kind of know the power of AI already. And most of our customers have no problem kind of just enabling that and having AI as the first line of defense. Escalations go to support agents. And an example of this AI guidance that I was just telling you about is even telling the AI, if you feel like the conversation is frustrating to the user, escalate to a human. So you no longer have to wait for someone to say, I want to talk to a human like you used to with these if-then bots that used to exist. Now the AI can rate the conversation, and if they sense frustration without the user actually saying that, hey, I am frustrated, it can use that guidance that it has and escalate to an agent tier 2 support instantly. So then I covered AI guidance and what does it mean to build an AI for a specific use case. And then, of course, it is even more powerful if you connect it to some of your systems like AI agents and actions. So that means that you can take some of your longer support tickets that usually take 20, 30 minutes to solve, and you can take that down to like 3-4 minutes, and the AI can like seamlessly connect to all of your systems. So this is kind of the gist of it. These are the trends. I'm excited to see what's going to happen next since it all switches up so quickly. But I hope you're excited about it as much as I am.
Yeah, Marius, this is awesome. You kind of started to answer what I was just going to ask you, but I was curious because I know AI is such a hot topic, but there's also paired with some hesitation sometimes for operators or brands. What would you say is kind of the number one objection you'll hear that come up to deploy some of these best practices? And then what do you typically say to an operator if you hear that?
Yeah, and this is kind of another good example for the power of AI guidance. One of the most common things we see on AI guidance for people just getting started is telling their AI to not respond to questions where it feels like they don't know the answer fully. And the deeper layer of that would be, and if you cannot solve it instantly. So we're looking at this one-touch resolution. Actually, you can have AI deployed on your customer support, and it can only pick the tickets where it feels like it can answer in one single interaction, and it's very unlikely for the visitor to ask a follow-up question. So if it feels like the question is so complex that it would require follow-ups, it's risky, there's too much conversation about the order, it won't even touch it. It just goes to your support agents. But for everything else, which is usually about 30% of your support requests, it will just answer in one go with the perfect answer, solve it, and that kind of gives people the confidence that, hey, it's working, and then they start dialing back the guidance, so it allows it to have more deeper conversations.
Nice. I love that. Great way to kind of test into it, like you said. So, yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I know this is a new topic to me too, and I just learned a ton during this session. If I am someone listening in and wants to put some of this into action, how would you recommend that they get in touch with you and the team?
Yeah, you're gonna find us at tidio.com, so it's tidio.com, and there we have all of the plans from like a free trial to our like premium plan for larger businesses. So I suggest just starting there. If you reach out to us, we're gonna be there, and actually my team helps with all of the implementations, so you might meet me on one of those calls as well.
Nice. Awesome. Well, Marius, I really enjoyed this session. For everyone that's been listening, like we shared, the goal of this series is to really give you practical advice that you can implement across your e-commerce operation. So really excited to have the Tidio team, Marius here, teaching all things AI and customer service. So Marius, thank you again for the time. Thank you everyone for listening. We'll be back tomorrow for the next session. So see you then.
Thank you. Bye bye.